This is a big market opportunity. And I would tell you there's no doubt. When you have folks like Bloomberg saying that by 2050, 20% of world energy will come from hydrogen, that's a big number. And even if that number is overstated, it's still a big number. Europe is saying that by 2030, they're going to be using 10 million tons produced within Europe per year of hydrogen and importing 10 million tons of hydrogen. There's also here in the United States another 10 million tons of hydrogen which will be generated. And when I take a look back, that's a huge market opportunity. And in Europe, it's made it clear 42% of it has to be green. When we do our back of the envelope calculation, just for our electrolyzer business, just for Europe, just for United States, it's a $40 billion opportunity between now and 2030 for just one small segment of our business. So yes, hydrogen's going to be big. And we've been building it out. I know that I've shown this schematic many times, and everything from generation to all the applications that use our products. But it's the next slide of that I really like. There's a picture of our production plant that's in Georgia. Uses plug electrolyzers, plug stacks for our renewable generation taking electricity. We know how to deliver products. They're real delivery vans. That's Plug's logistic network as well as Plug trailers. We have our own ability to liquefy hydrogen. We've been building infrastructure for the last 15 years. We're involved in so many accelerators, and people say to me, what's going to accelerate the business? And I'm always about, I'm an engineer, so I'm going to give you 120 degrees out of sync with folks sometimes. But I see all those products, I see all the demand. We've been fighting a multi-front war, building hydrogen plants, building stationary products, building electrolyzer products for the first time, building facilities for the first time. That's really tough. This business, from a capabilities point of view, I don't have new battlefronts coming because those battlefronts are going to just generate so much opportunity for Plug. And we've learned so much over the last 3 years. And one of the items I've learned over the last 15 years, that when you're in the energy business, regulations matter. How the IRA comes out, important. The Renewable Energy Directive that came out of Europe on Monday, which says 42% green hydrogen, that's really important. And it's the work we do to help guide our legislators and our executive branch in how to implement these regulations and how to help build a big economy. It's something Plug's deeply involved in, and which is really important for our future. As well as deals. Everybody likes when we announce deals with partners because they're real business. And real business, real customers, which Plug has done for years and years. People like Amazon and Walmart, people like Fortescue, these are real customers who want our products. And without that, quite honestly, this business doesn't grow and expand. On top of that, we have a plan for margin enhancements. Fortescue and us share a vision for a green hydrogen economy. And we've had negotiations that have gone on for 2-3 years. And I'm going to show you a clip here of Sanjay and Mark talking about what we're doing together and how we're looking to build out this industry together.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to work with you all as our 10 megawatt electrolyzer skid supplier to your Gibson Island project, which is, I think, going to be one of the largest projects announced here on a global basis at 550 megawatt. So, Mark, can you tell everybody a little bit more about that project and how we're sort of working together there?
We have a goal for 15 million tons of hydrogen by 2030, which seems enormous. But actually, we're starting to see a pathway there. But we believe it's so important to show the world and also our investors who invest in the company what these projects look like. The intention is really to show the world, the difference in these projects, but also to really learn the process as we go through and as we develop these projects. So Gibson Island is one of our first. It's in Queensland, Australia. It's an opportunity to export ammonia. It's a large project to get going. We're working very hard with your team and Plug to provide the electrolyzers. We've got banks already lined up, and we hope to be financially closed sometime in 24 and production in 26.
The benefit I see in this collaboration is obviously we have the world's first gigafactory with the electrolyzer. We can give you that surety of supply, right? Maybe it will be beneficial for everybody to understand scale of some of this project on a global basis, especially those first 5 that you see getting to FID here in the near future.
I think that we see the market developing in certainly different ways. With the IRA in the United States, it's really, serving a domestic market more than anything else. And so you don't really have to change the hydrogen to anything else. So you can liquefy it using your equipment, or you can sell it as gas, and that market's going to be huge eventually. But then you have the other markets around the world, which is really feeding into Europe and feeding into the Asian market, Singapore, Korea, Japan, where you have to turn it to ammonia. We're looking at really the next wave of what we think about as mega projects. And what we're trying to do is look for where around the world can we get very cheap power abundantly that really isn't needed in the domestic market. So some of these projects, the first phase will be 1 million tons, but then we hope to continue to kind of build these out as the demand grows. Eventually, we want to almost jointly work on how do we kind of replace the LNG market and use the LNG infrastructure globally. So I think that's kind of like the holy grail in our view, but let's start with what we know and what we can do.
But now, one another thing I don't think a lot of folks know about our collaboration or the cooperation in this area. It might be worthwhile for both of us to talk about it a bit, which is we're also looking to be co-investor in some of our hydrogen plants here in North America, right? So Mark, as we are collaborating and both of our teams are working on potentially being co-investor in some of these plants, what are the criteria, Mark, your team are looking at in terms of, all right, these are the key things that we need before we step in and say, we're going to be a minority investor in one of the Plug's project, and Plug becomes a minority investor in one of our projects. How are you guys thinking about that?
I think collaboration with Plug, and there's, we have a project in Phoenix, you have some projects in Texas and other parts of America, and swapping equity a bit so we all learn together, I think is really smart. I think it's just a matter of getting going, creating the market. In fact, most of the customers we talk to aren't really interested in bespoke projects. They're more interested in saying, well, look, we'd rather contract with you as a company, and then where you get it from, we're kind of agnostic to some extent. So we've got to create a market here. There is no really price, there is no market, there is no index. So all that has got to be done. So this is a very exciting space for both of us as we kind of face in.
We can really collaborate with each other, and the goal, as you said, right, this is not about Fortescue versus Plug. It's really more about Fortescue and Plug working together to make sure that we presented a solution that is going to be a displacement of the fossil fuel as we look forward, right? And that's really kind of what we're both looking at, if you would.
So I think that's totally right, Sanjay. Look, we've got a lot of work to do together. This is just the start of this industry. I kind of think of when the solar industry happened and the wind turbine industry, it just matured so much over the next few years as the market scaled, and then you got innovation. Just think about the last 12 months, how governments around the world have really kind of changed their mind and accelerated this industry. So, our belief is we're very much at the start of the starting gate for this industry. We've got a long way to go, but there's plenty to do for everybody here.